A goal made without a plan to execute it is nothing more than a wish. So if you want to keep and win with your financial goals in 2017, this video is for you. Hi friends! So every year I do something that I consider integral to my success with budgeting and getting out of debt and building a good financial future. And it is a simple thing. It takes between 30 minutes and a few hours to do, but you have to be all in it and you have to commit to it to get it done. I call it my annual budget summit. Now, because I am single and Rory is terrible at budgeting, I do this all by myself. But if you are a couple or you have a family that you need to plan for, obviously this is something that you would want to do together as spouses, to create a plan for your new year. At the end of the year, very beginning of the new year is the perfect time to do this because you are moving into a new cycle, a brand new year of your life, and you can do whatever you want with your money and your life in it. So it is the perfect time to set goals and to evaluate your performance over the past year and see how you are doing with money and to decide to do better. Now, this has been more successful for me than any New Year's resolution I have ever made because it's creating an annual plan for my money. Now, this plan is not set in stone. When things happen, like you move or unexpected things come up, you obviously have to adjust your plan, just like you have to adjust your budget every month. But this isn't just creating your January budget. This is reevaluating all of your financial responsibilities and your plans for the entire year in the hopes that you will do better this year than you did the last year. So if you can commit to a budget summit, which I think is a wonderful idea, and don't be afraid to bring like a little wine into the occasion because sometimes that helps, I'm going to tell you exactly how you should go about it. So like I said, this is a plan for your year, not just a plan for a new month, which if you're anything like me, making a new budget for a month for the next month of the year takes maybe 5 minutes. I think quickly about what things are coming up. If there's anything weird I might have to plan for, I make a copy of my budget, give it a new name, clear it out, and I'm ready to go. This takes more than that. It takes first a reevaluation of every single line of your budget. Now, some lines will take more consideration than others. For instance, your rent will probably stay the same, but you need to go through line by line, your rent or your mortgage, and say, is this number really working for us? If you need to, and I would suggest it, have all of your budgets available to you at this time. If you are in EveryDollar, just bring them all up. If you keep your budgets on Google Docs like me, I actually go through and I open a tab. I open 12 tabs, 13 actually, for the proposed 2017 budget, and I have all of my budgets there so that as I am looking through each line, I can click back through the year and say, okay, say maybe my grocery budget, I've gone over 9 out of 12 months of the year. Perhaps it's time to reevaluate what a reasonable grocery budget amount is for this new year. So this is the cut to the earth, completely rebuild your budget time. There are some things obviously that are going to stay the same, like your rent or your mortgage payment, but if you get down to electrical and you go back through and the amount that you're budgeting for each month isn't hitting it at all, go ahead and make a brand new number in there and then worry about balancing everything when you get to the bottom, because you are going to have to make adjustments if you need to up a bunch of categories. Obviously, to create a zero-based budget, you're going to have to cut something down. But I think it's absolutely of the utmost importance to go through every single line and make sure that that is working for you. Because if your budget isn't working for you and you're having to fight with it every month, it's not going to be easy to do. It's not going to serve your life. Create one that serves your life and is easy to do. All right. Next, you are going to set your goals for the next year. This goal setting time at the beginning of the year is where I came up with my 10K 2015 challenge and my 10K 2016 challenge. And when I sat down to do my 2017 proposed budget, that's when I decided, hey, if I work really hard and if I change a bunch of my numbers around, I could get out of debt in 2017, I think. If I really work hard, I can get out of this mess this year. And I never would have thought of that had I not gotten into the budget and said, okay, what is absolutely essential? What can I slice out for 10 to 12 months to get out of this mess that I'm still in, have been in since 2006? I'm so ready to be out of debt. So I went in and I slashed sinking funds. I went through and decided, hey, I can do without this. I can do without this if I'm going to get out of debt in time. And then I did the math and I ran all the numbers down and they work. If I can stick to this proposed budget, I will be out of debt in 2017. Yes. But I wouldn't have been able to foresee that or plan for it or take these steps needed to make that goal happen without this proposed budget. So set your goals, set them high. I urge you, set them high. I didn't make either of my 10K a year challenges, but the first year I was like $400 short, and I had actually paid more if you include the amount of, I didn't pay off $10,000, but I ended up paying $6,000 or $10,600 to it. And I wouldn't have done that had I not set these giant goals for myself. If you set a goal just above where you think you can meet it, often you will rise to the occasion. So decide what is important to you this year and decide what is necessary for you this year. For the past several years, I haven't had a clothing budget, in part because I had a small personal budget that if I really needed something, I could spend the money out of there to get it. Also because my family gives me some Christmas money every year and I do a big clothing purchase. And I already had some clothes, but this year was one where I was considering maybe I need to give myself a little clothing budget because I'm finding myself in need of this. And when you're making a new budget, it's the opportunity to meet a need that you have. You also need to evaluate your expenses that you're currently doing. Like if you have sinking funds right now, go into your sinking funds as you do each line and say, was this amount sufficient for what I needed or is it too much? And either way, you might have to adjust that level up or level down. One, that I vastly overestimated the amount of money that I would need somehow is Rory's annual shots and medical expenses. At the end of this year, I ended up with almost double of what I needed for her expenses because when I did the numbers originally, they were right, but we moved. I didn't adjust it then. When she got her shots this year, they didn't cost nearly as much as they were last year. And I didn't reevaluate that at the time. I put it off because that just happens. It's life. But the end of the year is the perfect time to say, this isn't working for me. That extra $60 that is in her fund can go to do something else and work better there. So adjusted that sinking fund. Consider new sinking funds. Reevaluate old sinking funds. Check your balances and just really think critically about every single place you're putting your money to because it's your money and you want it to serve you the best way that it can. All right. And finally, I keep talking about a proposed 2017 budget. You're going to make a new budget for the year. You could even make multiple budgets for the year. If you have some saving goals you want to set into place and you want to create some levels of how hard you want to go, you could have a budget of this is if things just aren't going well or if something comes up, this is the budget that we follow. And it's just a little bit more lax. Or you can have a balls to the wall, go hard or go home. This is if we are just on a roll, let's follow this budget. And once you have those into place, once you've considered every possibility, once you have looked back through all of your old budgets to see how you did on the budgets that you did, because remember, you have to be realistic. That's imperative. Then you can have your new proposed budget there set and ready for you to meet all of your needs in 2017. Now, once you have it, I need you to close it and I need you to sit on it for a few days. That's why this is coming out a few days before the new year. Now, your January 2017 budget does not have to be there perfectly. You can set that up in your first week, just, frickin' tell. But make sure that you sleep on it. Make sure that you reopen it back up in a couple of days and go back through it. Sometimes we get a little happy. And, maybe cutting out all restaurant spending was just a little much. So re-go back through it. If there are multiple people that are doing this budget, then make sure everybody makes a pass through it before you stamp this into being. If you are single, consider giving it to a trusted friend or a relative to get them to look at it. The first couple of years I did this, my Aunt Beth went through it with me, and she helped me figure out how to meet all of my goals, and that was amazing. I don't need her to do that anymore because I am all over this and I have it, but it is an option if you are feeling unsure to have somebody else look through your budget and just ask good questions. And the very final thing, and this is very important, if you have some sort of electronic spreadsheet-based system, go through all the cells and all the lines and make sure that the formulas are correct. I cannot tell you how many times some cell has gotten lost and it wasn't adding into a total that was then throwing off the entire thing. And it doesn't always error out for you. Sometimes you've got 10 cells that are supposed to be adding into this total. You're working off of the total, but the total isn't correct because one of the cells isn't counted. So when I make my new budget, I go back through and I check all of the totals, all of the cells, make sure that everything adds up correctly. I redo the math on my calculator or pen and paper, and I just make sure that this new budget is as accurate as possible, because throughout the year, stuff happens. So tell me below if you are going to do a budget summit. I really hope you do, because this has been so successful for me. Because it's really, really easy to forget about your bigger goals when you're just going through your everyday life. And this is the perfect time to go through and make yourself a plan for 2017 so you have a fantastic and fabulous year and meet your goals, or get out of debt, or just live better. I believe in you, every single one of you. Ask me any questions you may have below. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. Good luck. Thumbs up if you're going to do a budget summit. And if you don't thumbs up, then just really, really think about it. Think about it, come back, do the budget summit, give me a thumbs up. All right. I will see you guys soon. Oh, and subscribe, because I never, ever say that. Bye.